All right, back for another day of the AfterBuzz. 2 in a row.
I know, right?
Crazy times. Would you like to introduce your guest?
This is
Chris Rojas
from
El
the
Paso.
YouTube chat.
Oh, yeah, YouTube.
Well, on the YouTube chat and El Paso. So let's get some of the essentials out of the way. Born and raised in El Paso?
Yes, born and raised in El Paso.
And lived anywhere else or been here the whole
Yeah,
time?
I lived in San Diego from 05 to 09.
And what took you to
Okay.
San Diego and then what brought you back?
So I went to school here, graduated from here, and then my sister, she asked, I was working a crappy security job, and my sister goes, hey, do you want to come live with me and take care of my nephew? She had just given birth, and I'm like, dude, I'm fucking like 20 years old. What do I know about kids, you know? And she's like, come on, I'll pay you. I'm like, okay, cool. So I bolted, went over there, and took care of him for a little bit, for about 6 months, and then she moved back to El Paso, and I stayed. Mm-hmm. So I was there for, about five years.
That's not bad. San Diego, good town.
Yeah, I loved it.
Nice weather.
Beautiful weather. We used to go on the beach on Christmas Day. It was awesome.
So the thing that we were talking about was there's always, like, I put a post up about it today, like high school stories. There's usually like that one story, and we actually brought it up yesterday with one of our coworkers where he's known kind of for this notorious, not really notorious because it makes it sound bad, but it's not. He's known for like this one like incident that happened. No matter what honors he had, no matter what else he accomplished in high school, that's the one story that everybody remembers him for.
Yeah.
And I can't personally think of any stories that oh shit, never mind. I totally remembered one.
Oh, okay.
I totally just remembered it. But I'll tell the two that I put up that I actually wasn't involved with either of these ones. But my high school at the time when I was going there, it held all of the buses for the entire school district.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And usually you would miss a day of school because of snow, weather related, anything like that. One night, a group of kids, and I never even really got confirmation on who did it. They went and took a whole bunch of paper clips and flattened the tires of the school buses.
Shit.
So we got a full day off of school because they didn't have time to pump up the tires for the entire district.
That's awesome.
To let people, for the drivers to go pick up the kids. And then the other story was my high school was it was small. It was built for like 1,000 kids. There was 1,500 there.
Wow.
When I went my senior year. And I remember so it had like one main hallway and then there was like 4 offshoot like hallways where the classrooms and stuff were. The main hallway had those and then like the cafeteria and everything else off that. So when you were leaving class, you've got all these kids crammed into this tiny little school trying to go through these like little doors from the little hallways into the big hallway. And somebody had taken, so there was clocks at the end of all of these hallways as you're walking to the big one. Somebody had taken just this grotesque like shot from a porno magazine. And they had jumped up and they slapped it onto the clock.
That's awesome.
So of course this class is letting out. Everybody sees that and just comes to a halt. And if it was already bottlenecked before, it was even worse. Where everybody was like looking up at this thing. The teachers couldn't get to it because all of the students were in the way. So the teachers are like telling the kids to get out of the way so they can tear it down. And I think half the school was late for class that day.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, I went to El Paso High School, and we just celebrated the 100 years and the whole centennial thing. And when he had messaged us about that you were talking about high school stuff, I started thinking about all the stupid shit we used to do. And so I had messaged some of my buddies, and I was like, dude, what were the dumbest things that we did that I can remember? And I remember one time we stole. Oh shit, I shouldn't say that. No, okay, we borrowed a fire extinguisher from the school. And we sprayed one of my friends, Mark. Mark is like this little guy, he's like yay big, and we're like, hey Mark, come here. He's like, wait, wow. We whacked him with it. It was pretty cool. I used to actually work at the Kiss FM and KLQ Haunted House in high school. So Scott Ronson was actually my boss.
Really?
Yeah, man, he was awesome. And I remember like we used to do stupid shit there, and I mean just a lot of like weird things. I mean, my friends were just messaging me. Remember when I remember this one when we were It was me, my friend Gabriel, and Jerry. And Jerry was a lot older than us. He was like 18.
Are they okay with you saying their names? Is this one of those stories?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Oh, I just did it. I'm just kidding. And so Jerry was hanging out with a friend, and Gabriel and I were driving out in George Dieter. And so Gabriel's mom, oh shit, that's fine.
We're gonna totally get Chris in trouble here. He's gonna start talking like, "Oh, I shouldn't say that."
No, but Gabriel was driving Jerry's car, I believe, or whatever. Anyway, so we're driving down. Like they're just building those homes off of George Dieter. That's a long time ago was, and we're driving, and he was like, "All right, jump in." So we had the passenger side open, and I had to as he's coming, I had to jump into the car.
Like Dukes of Hazzard style?
Yeah, kind of. So he's driving, and I'm running, and I spear in there, and I hit the door panel, and I grabbed at the side of the door, and I grabbed the door. I'm swinging in and out. And, I mean, he was just reminding me of all the stupid stuff. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that I can't really talk about, but I mean, there was a lot of stuff that they were just.
And I think everybody's kind of got a lot of those stories. Because originally, today we were going to talk about cop run-ins and stuff like that, but I think we'll save that till next week.
Yeah.
Because this had popped up.
Yeah.
And what, you got something there, Scott?
Oh, no.
You look like you do. Well, you were doing the hand thing. Scott does this. Scott will start. So Scott's in front of me, but he's turned around. So he turns around. He starts doing this when I think he has a question for me or something. But so my story was, I can't believe I had completely forgotten about this. I think I blacked it out for a reason. There was a high school party where underage drinking's bad, by the way. Yeah. But I can't tell the story without talking about it because that's a very major component here. So I was sitting downstairs at my buddy's house, and one of my teammates, I was on the baseball team, one of my teammates was sitting next to me, and he just kept feeding me beer. He had a 30-pack, and he just kept feeding it to me. And I was really skinny in high school. I was pretty scrawny. Maybe $160, $170.
Wow.
And I don't even remember how it happened. It was the first drunk I love you moment, bro, that I had ever. So I looked at him, I go, dude, I fucking love you, man. And I slugged him in the arm, and he was a bigger dude, significantly larger than me. And he just looks at me and he goes, you have 5 seconds to run away. So I was like, shit. So I got up, I start running, and so directly to the left of me is the staircase that goes up like this. So I start hauling ass up the staircase, and all of a sudden I just feel on my pant this gigantic hand fucking grab me, and I'm like, no. And I made it to the top of the stairs, and at the top, directly to the right, is the kitchen. And there's a whole ton of people in the kitchen. And so they just see me grab the door jamb as I'm being drugged down the hallway, back down the stairs, and I'm going, help me! They're gonna kill me! And so then I get drugged all the way down the stairs. And then a lot of the football team decided at that point, let's give Brandon a wedgie. So they did. To the point it ripped my underwear off.
Oh shit.
Which it basically ripped off because I was holding, I was like this the whole time. So it ripped on the waistband. And then we're back downstairs where we were. And I think everybody was watching Cops or something like that. I don't know why I remember that aspect of the story. But I remember sitting there and I had torn the band of my underwear off, and I was flinging it around, and I go, look what you did! I go, you ruined my underwear!
All crazy.
I go, this is my favorite underwear!
Which I'm sure endeared you to them.
So I take, and it's basically the band, the waistband at this point that I have left. And I fling it up like this, and the ceiling fan was going at that time, and it gets stuck, and the whole room gets dead silent.
Oh, shit.
And you just hear this, and there's my underwear hanging from the ceiling.
Damn.
So this was a Friday. Saturday we had baseball practice. I was so hungover for that baseball practice. We were scrimmaging on that Saturday. And the coach comes up to me and he's like, Brandon, right field, next inning. You got it, coach. 3 innings went by. Nobody played right field. I didn't move. I was complete. When you get a case of the stupids? That's what we called it when you drink too much and you can't think. Right. It was a case of the stupids. I literally sat there on the bench just completely spaced out from the game. Nobody was playing right field until my buddy, the one who had drugged me back down the stairs, came up to me and he's like, Brandon. like, you're supposed to be in right field. So I go to get up really quick, and he goes, not now. It's the middle of the inning. Like, I would have ran right in front of the pitcher while he was getting ready to pitch at this point. That's how out of it I was. Wow. So that's Saturday. We fast forward to Monday, and people have pieces of my underwear. Like, one of the guys had like tied it. He had the cap on backwards, so it had like the buttons here. So he had like a piece of it tied there. Like, people were. It was like a badge of honor, I guess, from that party that people had pieces of my underwear. And then fast forward another year later, I'm at a bowling alley with my buddy playing pool, and we start talking to these two girls who went to a different local high school. And when we got to talking to them, we started to kind of talk about who we were and where we went to school and everything. Out of nowhere, one of the girls goes, "You're the underwear guy."
The underwear guy.
And I go, "Fuck!" I'm like, I thought I'd honestly gotten rid of that. And she goes, "Oh no, everybody in our high school knew about it." So like, there's 3 high schools that were really like close to each other. She goes, "Everybody in our high school knew about it, and everybody in the other high school knew about it."
You should have started your radio career that way.
As underwear guy?
Underwear guy.
I'm underwear guy. So I can't believe I'd forgotten, like, that didn't click into my brain sooner, but I may have blocked that out for a reason.
Wow.
So
The underwear guy.
the underwear guy. So you worked at the haunted houses before. Were you one of the scarers? What did you do?
Yeah, we well, I worked at Kiss FM first. And we used at Bassett Mall, they have, you know where the movie theater is, the Premier movie theater?
I think so.
Okay, that's where they used to have the haunted house at.
Okay.
And so when we got hired, Kelly Q didn't hire us, Kelly Q hired like the best of the best, you know? And so Kiss hired the scraps. It is what it is. And
you're here first, man.
Yeah, and I was a scrap. It was what it is. So when we got hired, they gave us like crappy like equipment. I mean, they gave us like this paper mache chainsaw. It was horrible. And well, Kelly Q had like top of the line stuff from Universal.
They still had
Studios.
the actual chainsaws. They just took the chain out.
Yeah, I mean, it was. So anyway, we're like, oh, this sucks. This is pretty shitty. So we brought our own equipment, and we would like alternate from different rooms. You know, like one day I was in the front as a scarer, in the middle or whatever. So we would bring like our own chainsaws. My friend brought this huge like battle axe, and we like had like real equipment. And I remember our boss was like, "We need to beat Kelly Q just one day." And I remember like, I'm like, "Dude, with this crap." Anyway, we were so good. Like the last week of Halloween, we beat Kelly Q like twice.
Hey, there you go.
And it was a big deal because I mean we didn't get exposure, we didn't get anything. It was know just
word of mouth.
Yeah, and it was awesome. So it was fun times.
How many years did you do it?
I did it. Gosh, 99 and 2000, 2 years. I didn't do it my 2001.
Yeah, actually, wait a minute. Phil says, "I want to see a young bee with hair." I have pictures of me with hair. I mean, I actually had long hair in high school. It was like down to here.
You have them on your Facebook? I'll dig them up.
I might. I think I may have taken one. It's not a picture of super long hair, but there is a picture of me with hair on Facebook.
Let's see if I can find it.
But yeah,
I'm on the job.
Scott's doing our research. I just got completely derailed now by the hair comment. Underwear guy, cross-eyed bear. Yeah, there we go. That's officially me at this point. So what is it you do now in El Paso?
I'm a realtor. So
Really?
Yeah.
So if you're looking to buy a house,
I'm the guy. Oh, that camera. Hey guys.
call it Chris.
Yeah, I'm the guy. Yeah, it's actually I was actually working right now. And it's cool because like I can do whatever I want. Not whatever I want, but I mean
You have freedom of schedule.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of come and go as you please.
like when you said come now, I guess you said, come now. I said, okay, cool. I can do it, So there's times where I can't, but most of the time I'm pretty
I mean, yeah, if you have a meeting or something planned, obviously.
Like
you don't
tomorrow
want
I'm booked I'm in Horizon all day tomorrow. So that's shitty. But
And how long have you been doing that?
This is my I'll be 6 years in January.
You like it?
I love it. It's awesome. It's very stressful, but it's fun. It's real fun.
I can imagine it being, because it's sales. Like a lot of that has to do with, whether or not you can sell the house, right?
People assume it's, well, you said like selling the house. The house, it's wood, cement, roof. It's a house. It'll sell itself. It's the stuff behind the scenes, like the mortgage company, getting.
Oh, yeah, I've been through all that shit.
Yeah, calming the buyer down. You know, like we're like, oh my god, what the fuck we're doing? And you're like, no, you have to be. Like, people say you're a therapist, you're a psychologist, you're.
Because you're dealing with people. Cause we're dealing with a lot of money.
Definitely a lot of stuff, and you know, you're dealing with a lot of money. I mean, people think, oh well, it's a huge investment. I mean, I just closed on a house a couple of days ago, $153,000. That's the biggest investment these people will ever make, unless they buy another house. And so it's just it's a crazy thing. So you know, it's a huge investment for people, and I take it very seriously, because if I fuck up, like, you know,
it's kind of like a livelihood, because it's not only just the money as well, but I know the amount of paperwork that has to go into it, which can be really
tedious,
tedious and stressful to go through.
Yeah, it's a lot. So like, and then if I fuck up, like, they go to my website and then they, you know, give me a bad review, and luckily, thank God, I don't have any bad reviews on my website.
There you go.
So I don't want anyone going to my website and posting.
Actually, hey Scott, did you know who my realtor was when I was in Florida when I bought my house?
Nope.
Tony Gonzalez
Really?
from Loudwire Nights.
Oh, okay.
Tony was my realtor.
Before she started radio?
No,
or?
she was in radio at
She
the
was
time.
doing
She was doing nights for our rock station, and I was the production director. And I kind of mentioned I'd been in town for about a year, and I told her, like, I was looking into buying a place, and she had mentioned that she had her license.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I would go take kind of a long lunch, like an hour to an hour and a half or whatever, and she would have 2 or 3 places ready to go.
Nice.
And we would go look at houses during the during that hour to hour and a half time span. I rode around entirely too much in her Mini Cooper that she had at the time.
Wow.
The Mini Cooper that floated away, by the way.
Oh, and
honestly, like, she had it in a parking lot.
Yeah.
And I guess she went inside and she came out and it was floating down the street.
Wow.
So,
you know, it's funny. Quick story. So, in real estate, like, you're trying to brand yourself.
Yeah.
You know, in anything, you're trying to brand yourself. And I mean, there's not really that. Well, I don't think there's that many Chris Rojases or Christopher Rojases.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started, I tried to find the domain name chrisrojas.com.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as my domain name. So he's a producer in LA or whatever. He's a
Chris Rojas?
Yeah, Christopher. So I emailed him, hey dude, like, do you mind? Because he had the website wasn't up. I go, do you mind, like, selling me?
He just owned the domain name.
Yeah.
He wasn't running a website on it.
No, he was. And so I go, hey, do you mind selling me that domain name or releasing it to me? Like, I really want it. And then he basically told me, go fuck off. And so I was like, whatever. So I used chrisrojasrealtor.com. I had to put because if I did, like, my whole name, it gets so fucking long. So
yeah, websites can be difficult, especially when it comes to somebody like that. If they're not willing to, you know, give you the domain you want.
But on Google, like, he's like the top. Well, now I'm on the top, but he was like top, like, first 5 pages. Mm-hmm. He's a Grammy Award winning producer.
Oh,
so I'm like,
what's he produced? We'll never listen to his shit.
I know. I think it's jazz music, actually. I don't know, but
Buzz will like that. Buzz hates jazz.
Yeah, right. But it sucked, man. It was just like pushing to get money because Brandon Coates. I mean, how many Brandon Coates are there?
Interestingly, there was a guy named Brandon Coates, spelt Coates the exact same way I did, with the TES on the end.
Yeah. He
played for the Portland Winterhawks, which is the minor league hockey team in Portland.
Shit.
When I was, I think, maybe in junior high. And somebody my dad worked with got behind the scenes with him. And you're using that pic, dude? I don't have hair in that pic. I figured you would have picked the picture of me as a kid. There you go.
Oh, that's cool.
Couldn't find anything, so I just found that one.
We'll find some for you guys next week. So my dad had somebody he worked with who knew, like, the Winterhawks organization and stuff, and they went back with, like, a photo and a puck for him to sign. He's like, who do I make it out to? And they were like, make it out to Brandon Coates. And he goes, bullshit. And they're like, no, seriously, like, it's spelled the exact same way. Because I remember when I first saw it, that was when I would also, like, when I would go check the box scores of almost every single sporting event back then. And I noticed the Coates in there, and I didn't think anything of it. And then my uncle was the one who actually really, like, he's like, you know that there's a guy with your name in the Portland Winterhawks, because he was a hockey fan.
Wow.
So I had no idea.
That's
so
crazy.
Other than that, I think that's the only one I've found so far. So
my luck, it sucks.
Phil wants to know whatever happened with Fernie and the thong from the weight loss thing, I'm assuming.
I don't know. I think it kind of went to the wayside when he decided he was leaving. I'm not 100% sure what. God, you can take that picture down. Jesus Christ.
See if I can make it bigger.
That was taken right before I moved here, actually. I don't know. Well, it was going to be for the photo shoot for the show, and when he says he's leaving the show, and then it's kind of one of those, we don't do the photo, but he needs to pay up. That's a good point. Thank you, Phil. He needs to pay up on that bet. We don't let people vouch out on their bets.
You know, we're talking about, going back to high school stories. Can I tell them real quick?
Absolutely.
I used to be in a band. I used to be in a rock band. I was big into like Misfits and Danzig. I even have a Danzig tattoo. It's awesome. He signed my arm. But anyway, we were in a band and we were playing at the Peanut Gallery. If any of you El Pasoans know where the Peanut Gallery is, it's an old place back in Central. And anyway,
does it still exist or is it gone?
No, they actually tore it down. Yeah, they tore it down. And so anyway, so we're we had just did like a battle of bands at Cohen Stadium, and it was like the worst. Like I know how to play bass, guitar, violin. I knew music, and our bass player, I had to teach him how to play bass. He learned the bass in a month, and then our drummer, well, he was awesome. So anyway, the day of the battle of bands, our drummer, like the night before, like he got his teeth pulled. So he was like all drugged up, and so we go to his house. We're like, dude, what the fuck? And he was all like, oh, sorry. And his mom was like one of our teachers, and she was like, you guys get the fuck out of here. He's all that. So we left. Like, can we borrow your drum set? Because it's a sick ass drum set. He's like, no. So anyway, my friend Mark, his cousin is the drummer for Liquid Cheese, a band I don't think they play anymore. And so we borrowed his drum set, and we drove to Cohen Stadium. Drum set, right? So we didn't have a drum. We had drum set, no drummer. So Gabriel went from singing to drums. Mark went to sing, who had just learned the bass. Okay. So we just get on there and we
start musical chairs.
Yeah, kind of. So I'm there with the guitar, and then we do a sound check, and I'm like, okay, everything's cool. And I had to like cue in Mark because if I didn't, like he has no. Well, now he does. He's amazing. But back then he had like no musical, whatever. So I go, okay, ready? On 3, I'm gonna count to 3. I'm gonna do a quick count. 1, 2, and he just starts jamming. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. And Gabriel's just like, fuck it, and he just starts pounding. It was the worst thing ever, and he like lost his.
Did anybody get footage of it?
Gabriel's mom said she has it, and I need to find it. If I find it, I'll show it to you. Because he was drumming, the drumstick flies off. Anyway, so we basically laughed off stage at Cohen Stadium. We fucking leave. And then the next weekend, we had to play the Peanut Gallery. Well, Gabriel couldn't go. We had our normal set, but Gabriel wasn't there, so we had no singers. We finally found a singer. Anyway, we go to my friend Mark's house to get up, and this guy, forgot his name, Big Bird, he had a van. It was I don't know his Big Bird's name, so any of my friends who are watching this, what's Big Bird's name? Remember his name. Anyway, he had this van, and we get there, him and Adam, and we start loading up all the shit, and one of our guitar player got in trouble. It was this big like clusterfuck of shit, and we went out and they were trying to start up the car, and something happened where the car was smoking. And we're like, oh shit! It was a big van, like those old, like those rape vans, like those old school. And so it starts smoking, and next thing you know, like we see flames coming out of the engine. We're like, oh shit! And the van pops, or like explodes. We're like, oh fuck! So we run in there to grab our equipment out because we were high school kids. Like, mom ain't gonna buy me a new guitar, I'm done. So we grab our stuff up. One of my friends burned his arm. He got grounded. It was bad.
I like that he burned his arm. He got grounded. Like the grounded was the bad part, other than the fact that he burned his fucking arm.
I know. You get to eventually, so we're like, so are we doing the show still? We don't have we don't have a van, but we can still go and we can figure it out. And we went to go talk to like our guitar player's mom, and she's like, no, he's grounded and you're all in big trouble. And we're like, oh shit. So we didn't play that night, and it was I miss that place. That place was awesome.
Rick is telling me to give you guys the wrap it up signal.
Why?
I don't know. He just said.
Who?
Rick.
Oh, what's up, Rick?
Give them the wrap it up signal? Dude, if you don't want to stay on... Dude, I was going to actually start to wrap things up here, but now I don't want to.
Yeah,
now we're just going to keep talking, and you can fucking go away, Rick.
That was segment 1 of
Jesus Christ. Why why are people asking about Kaplowitz? What's up with Kaplowitz? What sparked that conversation? Are we talking Steve or are we talking Buzz's best friend, Matt Kaplowitz? Because he does owe up on that bet, by the way. So basically, it was like 4 or 5 days after my girlfriend and I had split, and he was like, "Have you talked to her?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "Because there's nothing left to say. Like, I think that's it." And he goes, "You'll get back together." And I go, "Bullshit." And he's like, "No, you get back together." Buzz is sitting across the table, and Buzz goes, "You know what?" He goes, "I know how stubborn Brandon is." He goes, I'll make a bet with you that they don't. How much time do you want?" And Matt was like, "I give him a week."
Yeah.
And so they made the bet, and now Matt owes us both lunch.
Nice.
Because he really swung and missed on that bet.
Nice.
Or Steve, are they asking about Steve?
I don't know.
Yeah. Rick, if you want us to go away, I'll just boot you. Here, watch this. You guys want to see something funny? Oh, I can't do it with this account. Fuck. I was going to mute him.
Just so you guys know, Brandon is single.
Yeah, I am.
I'm happily married.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. I have a beautiful wife and a cute
I put it in
son.
timeout.
Oh, you did. There you go. That's
okay,
what
cool.
you get, Rick. Dude, what happened? What's going on? Rick's usually a cool guy. Like, why be a dick
Rick's
today?
awesome.
What,
Is it me? I think it's me.
did somebody piss in his Cheerios this morning?
Yeah,
Did he get up on the
probably.
wrong side of the bed?
I love you, Rick.
Did he step on one of those little fucking burr things that you have out here in
Legos?
Texas? No, one of those things called, like, they're like this big.
Oh, yeah, the little
and they're-
stickers.
Yeah, and they hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
like,
Is that
Suck.
the like mesquite?
Yeah, they're like little...
they're like this. No, they're just little burrs. They're
Oh,
like this
little
big.
burrs. Oh,
Yeah. They're like this big.
Those things suck.
And I never had to deal with them at Buzz's house. So when I lived with him, it wasn't a big issue. But then when I moved to my apartment, there's one area where like that's where they kind of blow in the wind, and like my dog would walk there, and all of a sudden he starts like limping big time, and I'm like, shit, what happened? It's just a sticker stuck on the bottom of his paw.
It's dry.
But I didn't realize that as I was walking through the same area, I was collecting them on my shoes.
Yeah.
And then when I walked into the house, they were being left on the carpet. And so I would wake up in the morning, and when I would go to shower, you want the fucking wake-up call? You think stepping on a Lego sucks? Holy
suck.
shit. And so it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think my neighbor was still living there at the time, and he had to have heard me just go, motherfucker! So now, like, at that point, when I got home from work, I'm like scouring the entire apartment, looking for those fucking little stickers everywhere,
Yeah, we
because
have those
they're
in our
just a
backyard,
pain
too.
in the ass.
Yeah, we have it in our backyard. My son tracks them in. Him and I track them in. We're outside playing, and always like she steps on one. And we're like, oh shit! So now we're like on stand ground trying to find those little fuckers.
Those things suck.
Yeah.
Talk about dating El Paso girls compared to Florida. I don't have a big enough sample size yet for El Paso. No, so, like I was in Florida for 8 years, so I've only been here for one.
It's only when he gets to the double digits that he starts talking.
No, but when I have enough, I'll revisit that question. But I just not a big enough sample size, I guess. I don't think there's really any other questions. I do have some giveaways that I have coming up this week for the YouTube chat. I've got some tickets to I should have brought it with me. I think it's called the House of Dracula is what it is. It's an Alamo Draft House. It's coming up. When's the 16th? Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah.
Whichever the 16th is. That's when it's
Today's the 12th, right?
yes.
13, 14, but yeah, Saturday,
Okay.
Sunday, yeah.
So I have some tickets to that. And then I do have the tickets for the haunted house. Are you going to make it out to the apocalypse?
I'm gonna try, yeah.
Um,
my son's like, he's 5,
So you're still not quite sure whether...
Yeah, I mean, he likes to get scared, but he doesn't he likes Rob Zombie.
Okay.
You know what's Rob Zombie?
Well, you got the new movie coming out. You can
Yeah.
take him to see that if you'd like.
But
I don't know if it's appropriate. But.
yeah, so maybe.
What's my type? Hot chicks. That's my type. And somebody who can deal with the fact that I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day. Yeah, I think we were planning on, we were going to try to shoot out there on Friday. Scott, you said that you think you have the harness
Yeah, I think so.
He's got the pieces for it or whatever. I think he's got the like the harness for the GoPro,
Yeah.
so that the GoPro will actually be mounted
Oh, nice.
on the front, so we'll get the reactions
Maybe
as opposed
right
to
away.
I think I'm
giving away what is inside the house.
Fuck yeah.
So we'll have that, and I think we're going to try to do that on Friday because that's when everything gets kicked off. And I will have some free passes. You won't have to use them for Friday. Like if if you win, you won't have to worry about using those tickets. Because I don't think they're day specific. Don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
I might be full of shit. But I don't. I think they're just generic. It's those tickets that you can use on any
Whatever.
And coincidentally enough, I think I've said this on the AfterBuzz. The first time I ever met Buzz was at a KLAQ haunted house.
Oh, nice.
It was 2012, and it was
okay.
over. Was it off Lee Trevino?
Yeah, I was probably over there where that furniture.
It's like it's like in the far back of that building.
Like
And I remember standing in the parking lot with our boss Kevin, and we're waiting for Buzz to show up, and this truck pulls in, and he's like, "I think that's Buzz," but he was dressed as Sasquatch. So the first time I ever met Buzzley Adams, he was dressed up as a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You're gonna ask the viewers a question or to give away the tickets?
No, I'm gonna wait and probably do those tickets later. I'll give away those tickets later in the YouTube chat in the next couple of days. I think around 7 o'clock is when we're planning on getting there, but you guys can show up anytime that you want if you're going to be out there on Friday.
Is that a good question for you?
Tell me when we're done, and
Yeah.
I'll use it for the tickets.
I gotta tell you guys. And I won't be a part of that one, so if I give them the question.
Let me see here. Why was I in El Paso? Because I got laid off in September of 2012 in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin really wanted to hire me again. Mm-hmm. And like, I had been let go. And before I was even home, he had already called me because somebody from our building was like, "Hey, Brandon just got laid off."
Oh, shit.
And so I wasn't even at my house yet after collecting all of my stuff out of my office that he was already calling me being like, "Hey, why don't you come visit El Paso?" There was no job. There was, nothing like that. Yeah. He was kind of using the excuse of get away. I know that getting laid off sucks. So come, hang out with me and Angie in El Paso, and just little vacation to get away. So that's what I was doing here in 2012. That's when I learned I liked horseback riding. We went a couple of times when I was in town. Who do I got? Cowboys or Packers? That's gonna
Cowboys.
Originally, I would have said Packers, but with how the Packers looked against the Giants and how good the Cowboys have looked. Where's the game's in Green Bay though?
Here's the thing. It's in Green Bay, but it's good weather.
True. If it was snow, it might be one thing.
Maybe, yeah.
But playing in Lambeau in general, I think is going to be tough.
Cowboys by 3.
See, I was going to say a final score of like 20-17, 23-20.
Close.
But I'm not calling a winner. I'm just going to say the score is going to be 23-20.
I'm going to say it's going to be Cowboys, and they're going to leave Dak in the rest of the season. We're going to go to the Super Bowl, and number 6 is coming up, guys.
Jeez, you really are a Cowboy fan. Holy crap.
Rick's back. Do you have anything you want to say to him? He offered his apologies.
Oh.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah. Dude, we're like the people, like the food handlers. You don't fuck with us. Like, if somebody fucks up your order, you're the most polite person on the planet because they're going to spit in your food. We just digitally spit in your food. All right, so here, real quick, before we wrap things up, now that Rick's back, we're going to wrap things up. Okay, so I take it you are a Dak Prescott guy.
Okay.
As of right now.
As of right this moment, I'm a Dak Prescott guy. I mean, I'm a Romo guy. Like, Romo's my boy.
You're a Romo.
I mean, I'm a Romo. What?
A Romo homo.
Yeah, there you go. Romo homo. Yeah.
Or a
homo for Romo.
Romo?
Yeah, Romo. And I mean, he's my guy because I mean, I remember we and Romo have a relationship because from the day he botched that kick against Seattle in the playoffs to now, I mean, we have a connection and we're cool. We have years. But Dak's like, he's like the new guy. It's like, all right, he's the new. So it's kind of hard for me because I want Romo to finish off and get his years going and, finish off on a high note. He's had last year's had no
not
high
on
note.
an injury, which kind of is the synopsis of his career. At this
and
point.
I want to get something, But I mean, if Dak's going to take us to the promised land, I mean.
Well, see, I being a Patriots fan, I'd be kind of in a similar situation, but Brady's got Super Bowls, so
yeah, I don't, and that's the thing is Roma doesn't have a Super Bowl, and I think with Dak. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to go. I'm going to be honest, Cowboy fans, we may not go to the Super Bowl, but if it could be possible, you never know. I mean, this kid could take us all the way.
It's true, and you got Ezekiel Elliott, who's been just an absolute fucking beast,
man. That guy's a monster.
But I would say, so at this point, you're of the mindset if they continue to win, Week 8 Romo's healthy, you don't immediately put Romo in the game.
That's tough, dude, because his team wasn't. He didn't lose a team. Does that make sense? Like he didn't fuck up. He didn't.
Well, that's what happened to the Patriots in back with Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe got hurt. They brought in Brady. Granted, Bledsoe went back, and I believe he got hurt again.
If that happens,
Brady,
yes. I think they should give him the
team
chance.
over because then where did Bledsoe end up playing?
Dallas. I think they should give Romo that shot. Like he hasn't played the season. Like he played like 2 games.
You aren't nervous that the play calling would change because right now you can tell that it's a limited playbook in the fact that they know that Ezekiel Elliott can run the ball, and that if they bring Romo back, you don't think that'd be like, we can maybe do a little bit more with the passing game, which could end up biting him in the ass because he could end up throwing picks.
That's true.
Do you think that they would still continue to be like, look, Ezekiel Elliott right now is our bread and butter. That's the guy. Like he's the one who's doing this stuff.
I think they have the bye coming up. Okay, here they have the Green Bay, they have the bye, and they have Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Dak's gonna walk into Green Bay, hopefully win. If he wins, that'd be awesome. They're gonna have the bye.
Mm-hmm.
That gives Roma enough time to kind of and then they have Philly. I don't feel comfortable with Dak going into Philly.
Maybe that could be the make or break game. That could be if they win in Green Bay and they win in Philly. Then again, also at this point, I still don't see how you bench Dak Prescott unless they start just being god awful and he actually throws an interception and they start to suck. I wouldn't bench Dak Prescott. I know the feelings of your guy being Tony Romo and stuff.
But not only that, but money. I mean, Jerry Jones has his investment sitting on the bench.
That's true.
He has his investment sitting on the bench.
But Cleveland's always looking for a quarterback.
That's true. That is true. And the phrase is Romosexual. It's Romosexual.
Romosexual. That's it.
Yes,
nice.
it's Romo.
The Romosexual.
My wife texted me and said it's Romosexual.
Oh, really? Oh, is your wife watching right now?
Yeah, she's watching right now. Hi, baby. Love you.
Okay. Is there anything else? It looks like we're all just... everybody's kind of wrapping up. We talked about Romo. Is there anything else that you would like to say? You said hi to your wife. Is there anybody else you'd like to say hi to? Or
hi, babe. Say hi again. Love you. Hi, YouTubers, everybody. I don't think any of my friends are watching because...
They're working?
Yeah, they're all working.
They don't have a job as cool as yours where you get to come hang out at 10:30 on a Wednesday.
But no, thank you guys for having me here. It was pretty cool.
Thanks for coming in, Chris.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It was
been great.
Thank you.
On that note, we will have tickets this week for Haunted House and stuff like that. Obviously, just stay tuned to the YouTube chat because I'll let everybody know. Thanks, Chris, for coming in.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And see you next week.